Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity Church, and we're going to begin our service by saying our affirmation for this month of June, and it's right there. So let's affirm this together. Every day I am free to be me. I am grateful. And so it is. And now let's stand up and we'll sing our opening song.
Aloha. Today's daily word for Sunday, June 12th, 2016. Love leads the way to divine order. In war-torn biblical times, Naomi and her daughters-in-law, Ruth and Oprah, lost their husbands. Ruth, in a curious act of devotion to Naomi, pledged her commitment to stay with Naomi, return to her homeland, and adopt her people and God. Like Ruth, I followed my heart and do the next right thing, despite any outer experience to the contrary. Divine order prevails in my life. I devote myself to the services of the greater good in order to reestablish even out of chaos when I follow my heart. In Hebrew, Ruth's name means love, and love is always at the helm of order. I follow my heart in all circumstances and let love lead the way. Do not press me to leave you and turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Ruth 1:16. Daily word today, Sunday. Love leads the way to divine order. Together. Love leads the way to divine order. Thank you.
And now I invite you to visualize our sanctuary as a beautiful heart. And we see this heart moving in and around and through each one of us, moving back, just filling our whole center with that love, that divine order of love. And just see this heart filling with that love, that caring, the compassion that we have for ourselves and each other. Breathing into this heart space. We know that our prayers go out into the world. Our prayers are for ourselves, our families, and our loved ones. So if you know of anyone in need of prayer, see them in our heart. And any circumstance in your life and in our world, let us hold them in our heart for divine order, right here and right now, as we sing the prayer for protection. And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes if that feels right to you. And we begin our time of centering in prayer by just breathing. Let us take in a deep breath, that very breath of life that is God. And holding it for a moment. And as we exhale, we begin to relax. Once more, breathing in. And exhaling deeply, we just quiet our mind. We calm our emotions. And we set aside anything that keeps us from being here right now. Once more, we breathe in. And exhaling this time, we rest in the consciousness of our heart, relaxing our breath. We know that this is our time of taking that moment to reconnect with the God of our being, to allow that life force to permeate every cell in our being, We allow this energy to fill us and nurture us, loving us right here and right now. Relax into this presence. Allow this presence to be all that you are. We know that today is a new day, this moment, a holy moment in our day. And we just allow it to blossom and grow. And right here and right now, we begin to let go of anything that blocks us from our good. Whatever that might be, small or great. We ask for that guidance and direction in releasing. Let go and let God. Trust in these moments that we have all the faith we will ever need to let go and trust. And as we go into a time of quiet prayer, whatever comes to mind that you want to let go of, ask for the strength, the courage, the wisdom to let it go, to begin that process right here and right now in the silence. Resting in this silence, we feel nurtured. We feel strengthened and willing to let go, to let God and to trust in these moments. We know that whatever we need to release, we can and will, right here and right now. In these moments, dear God, we just say thank you. Thank you for being with us on this path of greatness. We release, we let go, and we trust, knowing that all things work together for good and everything is in divine order. And so it is. Amen. How's everyone today? Good? Shh. I don't even believe that for a second. Good, good, good. Are you doing good? It's a glorious day outside, is it not? So clear and so beautiful. Yes, because the rain eliminated the fog. Thank you, God, for that. Because it's so, when it's clear like this, it's just, this is why we love Hawaii. This is why we love the Big Island, because it's so beautiful. And that is what we're going to talk about today, is about the power of elimination. And the dictionary defines elimination this way: to remove or get rid of, especially as being in some way undesirable. Do you have anything in your life that's undesirable? Maybe there's someone in your life that's undesirable. Anybody have people like that, or situations in your life that you'd really like to unwind yourself from and let go? I think we all do, wouldn't you say? We all have big things or little things that bother us and get in our way of our greater good. And so each day we have to release. Did you know that? Our physical body says, hey, we're not holding on to anything. We're going to let it go. And if you don't cooperate with that, guess what happens? It gets backed up, causes infection, causes disease. So why do we think it's any different in our mental body, our spiritual body? We have to let go. We have to release, and we have to trust. And that's what this is about. And so just as we take out and remove any weeds from our garden, when we release and take away those weeds, we create space for what we desire to blossom and grow. So if you look at it that way, in these moments when you're having difficulty and you feel like maybe you're blocked in some way, mentally or emotionally, do you have any issues in your life that you're struggling with? It's time to release them and let them go. Is it always easy to let go? Not at all. Is it challenging for us to want to create our greater good? How many of you think that you don't deserve to have all this great life? Anybody have those issues? I'm the only one? Really? Wow. You know, we do have that challenge. I grew up with that. So some of the thoughts that we have, or the emotions that we have running us, are by rote. Would you say that sometimes you just do the same old thing over and over again and we expect a different result? We know what that definition is, don't we? It's called insanity. So, but we'll still do it, won't we? We find a new book that we love, and we're going to change our life, change our world, change everything. And what happens usually? Do you tend to fall back into the old pattern? They start to creep in, and whatever it is that you so wanted to get rid of is right back in your life. I've done that. And so it was interesting as I was researching this and reading some of the stories in the Bible and in some unity books. And Charles Fulmer wrote this and said, when Jesus spoke of denying the self in order to follow him, he was not referring to the denial of identity. He was saying to withdraw thought and feeling from all that does not measure up to the divine pattern of life. We all have a vision of what our divine pattern can be. From where we live to what we do for a living, or what we volunteer to do for a living. And each day we can sort out those thoughts and begin to take a look at what it is that I truly want. And it could be just really simple things, like maybe there's things around the house that you've been putting off for a while. But in order to know what we have in our home, what do we have to do? We got to take inventory. We've got to clean out what doesn't work for us. And this is a time where I kind of do that. I'm really on that cleaning thing right now of letting go. And it's just stuff, but we don't have a thrift store to bring it all to anymore. So I got to take it to somebody else. but I've got a whole bunch of stuff in our carport. And when my granddaughters were here, they love cleaning and organizing, especially Emma. So we were in my quiet room and I said, I just want to go through all my books. And she goes, I love to do that. And so then she'd ask me, what does this book mean? And what is this book about? It was fascinating. And so I had different boxes, I still do there in the living room, of what we're keeping, what we're letting go, what we're giving away, and what can come to the Unity Library. And as we let go and purge things, it's like it became cleaner. And it was like, oh, it's just a wonderful room to be sitting in because it's our quiet room. And it's a comfy place to be. And eliminating all the dust, because dust, does it accumulate fast here on the Big Island? You betcha. You can wash your windows every week and you're still going to have that black stuff there. And so learning how to release, let it go, clear away the wreckage of the past, the old behaviors, because I read a lot of stuff about clutter and, what are those blocks about having a lot of stuff around you? And what does it mean when you have this, that, and the other? And so it's an adventure. And Cheryl Richardson, who I talk about often, she has a story in one of her workshops about this woman who just couldn't let go of all these boxes of things. She tried and tried and tried. And so finally, Cheryl told her, okay, let's just meditate upon this. So I want you to put the boxes in a big circle, you sit in a circle, light a candle, and see what happens. So through her guidance and direction, this woman discovered that in every box was a chapter for a book that she wanted to write. And so she was chastising herself for a long time for having all this clutter. But the clutter was really trying to get her attention about moving forward in a direction of her life about writing a book. And she was so free when she came to this realization. So sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. Are any of you hard on yourselves about, oh, I should have done this and I could have done this better and oh my God, am I ever going to get this right? That's going on. That tape, that reel is going over and over again. And we want to eliminate it. So how do we eliminate it? The first thing we do is become aware that we're having those thoughts. And every time you have a thought, create an affirmation or a saying in your mind that says, thank you for sharing. And I'm going to do this right now. Because we can only train our brain to go in the direction that we want it to go. And it's very, very challenging because we're not always aware of what we're thinking. And in therapy once, I had a wonderful therapist who was also a 12-step therapist. And she said, I want you to learn to pay attention to the thought because that creates that emotion and that feeling. And when you have several of these negative thoughts, no matter what they are about yourself or someone else, it's going to create this feeling of feeling down, feeling upset, not able to let go, not able to trust. And sometimes, I don't know if you ever do this, where you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling so sad right now. But chances are you had some thought process that created that emotion within you. And so that really helped me to begin to clear away some of that thinking that doesn't serve me. Do you understand what I'm saying about that? It's our job to create that positive thinking and to move forward. And the other thing we can do, besides being aware, is, like I said earlier, we're gonna eliminate. We have to learn how to let go and trust. And for me, being a person who's been involved in 12 steps for a very, very long time, those inventories, the 4th step, the 5th step of giving it away, those were my freedoms in my life. Giving them away, writing them, because sometimes I don't want to wait till I'm filled with pain to begin to write. I want to know who I am, and that's how I learn about who I am, is by writing, and that's what works for me. For some people, it doesn't work. Maybe they need to listen to some kind of positive input in some kind of tape or something like that, because that works as well. But we want to be able to change our attitude by knowing what's going on inside of us. And the only way I can do that is by becoming more aware and being willing to eliminate that which doesn't work for me. And so a store doesn't know what it has unless it takes an inventory. You have to know what goods are positive for you, and you have to know what goods you need to mark down or sell or give away. So it's a constant process. It's not something that we just do once in a while. Being a truth student, we learn to do it every day. And so all of us are faced with challenges, some greater than other. And I will share with you this story from the Quest. And in it is about experiencing joy from changing the way you're thinking. Stripped of their freedom, their dignity, even their clothes, the prisoners of the Nazi concentration camps during World War II had little reason to feel hope or joy. Separated from their wives and husbands and children, many would never see them again. Viktor Frankl was one to lose his wife along with everything else. He remembered the men who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. He observed, everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances is to choose one's own way. So which way do you want to go in life? Do you want to move forward? Do you want to stay stuck in the old ways? Are they working for you? That's what Dr. Phil's always asking everyone. How's that working for you? Right, honey? You said that about something about himself this week too. He goes, what would Dr. Phil tell me? How's that working for you? So when we're going through our activities in our day, we begin our day with meditation and prayer. Wouldn't you say most of you do that every day? Do you try to find other times in the day where you can be still and listen? One thing I love about Unity's You Pray app is they call it a pregnant pause, this moment to just take a breath. And it's a 3-minute meditation. So sometimes I'll just lay down and put it on so I have 3 minutes to regroup, reconnect, and remember. Because that's what I want to do in my day. The affirmations, I read them almost every day. Because I want to change the way I think so that I can have input about the way I feel about what is happening in my life. And so I want to invite you to do the same. Find the tools that work for you, that make your life improve. When we refine the search that we're looking for, just like on our computer, if you type in one word, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. But when you refine that search in your computer, guess what? You're going to get the details that you're looking for. So that's what we want to do within ourselves, is to refine that search of what I'm looking for. So if I have difficulties in, what can I say? The chickens, the roosters, all the adventures in our yard. And now there's new cats that are adventuring. This one cat is so big, and I know that's what's keeping the big roosters away. So the universe has a way of balancing everything out. And it is an adventure, because I don't want to be mean to any animal, but I don't want them all eating all of our cat food, right? So it's a constant thing of moving through the day. I can feed the cats earlier, I can feed the cats later, and the chickens won't be around. They'll be sleeping somewhere. And then there's a new batch of little baby chicks, because there always are new batches of baby chicks. And so I want to learn how to not be frustrated or upset about life, because that's life that's continually happening. And I may have told you before, but when we bought the house and we moved in, there was a chicken coop in the far back corner. Guess who tore it down thinking, we don't need this? Those chickens and roosters were there way before we were. And so there was no chicken coop. And now I'm trying to convince Joe that we need to have a new chicken coop in the far back corner of the property. They're at Costco. It came to Costco, so I would see that, right? And now it's the second batch they've had. So we're working on getting Joe to be agreeable and it's so silly because the chicken coop was there. And the chickens probably knew where to go before I came to that house. But that's what I had to learn. So 11 years later, we're still working with the chickens. Bonnie's laughing. It is funny sometimes, I gotta admit. And they're beautiful. And now my grandchildren, there's the babies, there's the toddlers, there's the preschoolers. Then we have our elementary school, we have our middle school, and we have the teenagers, and then the grown. And that's what happens. Day after day, they go, oh, there's the teenagers, they're back. And we keep track, we count when there's 13 when they're born, and then they get down to 6 really fast. And, where do they go? But I had to let go and release what I think should happen in the adventure of the chickens and our house and all the chicken poop that is everywhere. Because they only poop where you walk. No. See, we know that. Yeah, it's true. So it's like, let's take advantage of it and let's get some eggs out of the deal. Right, Joe? Then we can bring eggs to church on Sunday. They're great. So I wanted to learn how to release this energy so I didn't constantly be upset about what am I going to do with all these chickens and all these critters that love to come to our home. And this big black cat who looks like this dog in the backyard. And they love us. The animals just come. We had a goat once that was in the shed room. A big old goat. But my opportunity is to learn to change me and my attitude about all this adventure. And to do the best that I can. He's softening. I can see it. So we can make it happen. Otherwise, we're going to have to move. Right? The chickens will drive us out. And all the animals.
But if you eat the eggs, then there won't be so many babies.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So I've been doing my research. I fine-tune what I need to know about raising chickens and roosters and all those things and how you gather the eggs and all that kind of stuff. So I have had to learn about chickens that are feral chickens in our neighborhood. And like I said, they've been there before I was there. So I can either work with them or try and get rid of them all. And that's a big challenge. So when I refine and let go of my attitude about anything, I know I'm going to move forward. And so I want to recreate a space in my life that will bring me joy. I don't want to be worried about this, that, and the other every day. Our big banyan tree that's taken over our yard with all the rain that we've had, it's like huge. And it's been there since the house was built in 1989. We have several of those big trees. And so they've taken over, and we're wanting to change that as well. So it's like learning how to make it work, no matter what is happening in our lives. And those are just simple outer things that are happening. How about the inside stuff that we go through? So I've got to constantly trust in God and clean house, because that's what will work for me and it will work for everyone. And to accept our good. So when we accept every day the good things that happen to us. The first Unity class I ever took, the teacher had us write 7 things down every day that we were grateful for. Every day, 7 things. So I used to write them on my lines in my mastermind journal because there were 7 lines. And every day that you do that, you begin to be more aware of the good things in your life, because that's what we want to do, is see more of the good than the negative. Because if we spend all of our time watching the news, what will happen to us? We'll be tainted. We're not going to be happy. We're not going to be filled with joy. We're not going to be able to see the good. So we have to let go and trust whatever is not working for us. And that's our opportunity every single day, is to say, okay, God, what do I need to do here to make my life work better? And by not investing in a specific outcome, so it's like we do the work that we need to do. We have ideas and plans and dreams, but we also need to know that God has a better plan than we could ever think of for our lives, to make it be better and more beautiful than we know. And so when we praise, we want to do it often. Praise others, praise ourselves. When you look in the mirror, give yourself that praise. When you see others, give them that praise. Because that's all honoring God, because that's the God in us. So as we move forward, we want to be able to do our best to make it happen, to eliminate that which doesn't work for us, to truly let it go, to release it, and allow that good to grow in its place. So take out the weeds, give space for the good to grow, to give space for what you intentionally planted in that garden. Thank you, everyone. And so in these moments, dear God, we just are thankful. Thankful for the weather, our lives, the great things, the small things that happen every day. And we ask in these moments that you dedicate and consecrate these gifts to do your will and your work in and through each one of us in this ministry. And so it is. Amen. And now we'll make a circle. We'll sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth. and aloha oi.